All right, so get ready because today we are diving deep into Othello, um, one of Shakespeare's, well, most famous tragedies.
Yeah, definitely a classic.
We've got a few different things to work with here. We've got, of course, like excerpts from the play itself. We also found this awesome video breakdown by the amazing Lady Learn a Lot on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I've seen her stuff. She's good.
Yeah, so she's great.
Very insightful.
So this deep dive should give you a really solid understanding of Othello, whether you're like prepping for a class discussion or just curious about why this play is still such a big deal, centuries later.
I think that's what always gets me with Shakespeare, like how he can write about these intense emotions, love, jealousy, betrayal, and it's like still so relatable, even all this time later.
Right. Like you read it and you're like, oh, I know someone like that. Okay, so Othello. Um, Basic plot. We've got this Venetian general, Othello, and he's head over heels for this woman, Desdemona. She's like high society, the whole deal. They elope. And for a minute, it's like, true love conquers all.
Yeah, and that's when Shakespeare throws in the curveball, right? Enter Iago.
Dude, Iago, right. He's like the wrench in the gears.
Yeah, he's got this deep resentment. Othello passed him over for a promotion, chose Cassio instead. And Iago, well, he just can't let it go.
Yeah, talk about holding a grudge.
That sets off this whole chain reaction of like tragic events.
So, okay, instead of just dealing with it, Iago cooks up this crazy revenge plot.
Oh yeah, it's intricate, man.
He wants to make Othello believe that Desdemona is cheating on him. But it's not like he's just, making stuff up out of thin air.
Oh no, it's way more devious than that.
It's like psychological warfare.
Totally. It's like, how does he actually get under Othello's skin? That's the question.
Right. So what are some of the tactics that Iago uses?
He's a master manipulator. I mean, he doesn't just come out and say, hey, your wife's cheating on you. He plants these little seeds of doubt, like twists these totally normal situations to make him look suspicious.
It's gaslighting, basically, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, 100%. And then there's this line, one of Iago's most famous, where he's like, oh, beware, my lord, of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster which doth mock the meat it feeds on. But see, he's pretending to warn Othello about jealousy, but he's actually just, like, fueling it.
It's crazy, right? Like Shakespeare's playing with language to create this double meaning.
Exactly. And Iago knows exactly what to say. Like, he's pushing all of Othello's buttons.
And Othello, I mean, he's got his insecurities,
Oh,
right?
for sure. I mean, he's an outsider in Venice. He's a black man in a very white world.
Yeah, and Iago totally uses that, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's always subtly hinting that Desdemona might want someone who, fits in better.
Oh, absolutely. He's playing on those racial prejudices that are already simmering beneath the surface.
That's what makes this story so complex, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about jealousy, it's about race and how it intersects with power and trust.
Yeah, you can't separate Iago's manipulation from the whole racial dynamic.
It makes you wonder, right? Like, would Othello have been so easy to manipulate if he wasn't already dealing with all that societal pressure?
It's a great question. It really makes you think.
So, okay, we've got Othello and Iago, but they're not the only ones caught up in this whole mess. There's Desdemona, who's like totally innocent,
The classic tragic heroine.
and then Cassio, who, he's got good intentions, but maybe a little naive.
And we can't forget Amelia, Iago's wife. Talk about a complicated character. At first, she's unknowingly helping Iago with his schemes, but then she becomes the one who exposes him, brings the truth to light. It's like she's torn between loyalty to her husband and this, like, deep sense of justice.
Oh, and what about Roderigo? The guy's head over heels for Desdemona, and Iago just uses him like a pawn.
Totally. Roderigo's so desperate to win Desdemona over that he falls for anything Iago tells him. It's like he shows how easily people can be manipulated when they're blinded by desire.
So Iago's playing everyone right. But how does he actually convince Othello that Desdemona's cheating with Cassio? Like, what's his proof?
It's a combo of made-up stories and these situations he, like, orchestrates really carefully. A big part of it is this handkerchief. It was a gift from Othello to Desdemona, and Iago makes sure it ends up in Cassio's hands. And he's all like, see? This is proof.
It's just a handkerchief.
Right. But Iago knows how to spin it, how to make it seem like this big, incriminating piece of evidence.
It's amazing how Shakespeare takes this ordinary object and turns it into a symbol of, like, Suspicion and betrayal.
Mm.
So what happens when Othello finally confronts Desdemona?
Well, he's been fed all these lies, right? And he's
Right.
consumed by jealousy, so he ends up smothering Desdemona, thinking he's, delivering justice.
Oh man, that scene is brutal.
Yeah, the irony is just heartbreaking. He's convinced he's acting out of love and honor, trying to protect his reputation, but really he's destroying everything that matters to him.
Classic Shakespearean tragedy, right? It's like this chain of misunderstandings and manipulations, and it all leads to this, like, devastating, irreversible ending.
And even then, it doesn't stop there. Amelia figures out what her husband's been up to and exposes him. But of course, it's too late for Othello and Desdemona. Othello's so overwhelmed with guilt and remorse that he takes his own life.
Heavy stuff, man.
Yeah, it really makes you think about, like, the destructive power of jealousy and how easily we can be manipulated.
And the whole thing about prejudice, right?
Hmm.
How it can be used to exploit and control people.
Absolutely. It's like Iago weaponizes Othello's insecurities, his outsider status.
Which brings us to, like, the big question. If Iago could manipulate Othello so easily by preying on his insecurities,
Mm-hmm.
how can we be more aware of our own vulnerabilities?
Right. What can we do to, like, protect ourselves from that kind of manipulation?
How can we become better critical thinkers, like really question what we see and hear, especially when it comes from people who might have ulterior motives?
Yes, like Othello is this warning, right? It's telling us to be careful to guard ourselves against those who might want to use us.
Food for thought, right? It's
Yeah.
something to keep in mind long after you finish reading the play or watching it or, listening to us talk about it.
Definitely. There's always something new to discover in Othello. Every time you revisit it, it's like you see something different.
It's a story that just stays with you.
For sure. And I think that's the mark of a truly great work of art.
Yeah.
It makes you think, it makes you feel, it makes you question.
Sparks a conversation.
Exactly.
And hopefully that's what we've done here today,
Yeah.
Started a conversation about Othello, about manipulation, about the power of critical thinking.
And about the enduring power of Shakespeare, right?
Absolutely. So yeah, keep thinking about Othello, keep questioning, keep exploring, and, maybe watch that Lady Learn a Lot video. She's got some great insights.
She does.
Until next time, happy deep diving, everybody.
So yeah.